Many homeowners don't have the money or can't get financed for $15,000 to $20,000. How do you get around that on insurance deals?
I don't really do insurance. I mean, I hate to neglect the question because
Yeah.
it's a good question. I mean, at that point, I think you have to work it as an insurance lead and
Yeah.
do the follow up appointments. If you want the sale, then you kind of got to go through the hoops that the insurance company's requiring. But maybe they have enough to put a significant amount down. Maybe they have $8,000 to put down on that. Maybe they need to refile that financing application with $8,000 down and not try to finance the full amount, because the way those unsecured loans work, it's the amount, it's the credit score, it's the length of payment terms. There's all these things that factor into whether you're approved or not. It's not just, a credit pool and it's done. It's how much do you need, how much are you willing to put down, what's your debt to income, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's, maybe edit that financing application with what you can possibly do. Maybe that works, or just run it as an insurance job. I don't have insurance where I'm at. I don't want to say I don't have insurance where I'm at. We don't get storms to cause enough to where we fool with it, so every once in a while we'll get someone that filed a claim, and essentially we don't really do much with it. We just tell them, well, have your adjuster out. If you'd like us to meet with the adjuster when they come, we'll come for the meeting. But other than that, we're not writing an Xactimate. We're not breaking out our pricing. We're still just giving you a retail bid. So
Yep.
what we find most of the time is the insurance pays the customer more than what we charged, so it works out great for everybody.
Yep. Yep. No, that makes sense. So I can speak for, because I talk to a lot of guys in Florida and then Texas that are in those kind of heavy markets, heavy insurance markets, and the companies that I know that are doing this retail for insurance model. If someone can't get financed, so they'll get real creative with the financing. That's I think step one. But if you can't get them financed and they don't have the money, then it's not your customer. They're just absolute line in the sand. You got to be able to pay for it. You can finance it or you can pay it out of pocket, but you got to be able to finance it. And if you are absolutely determined to come out zero out of pocket for this and you want to wait for the insurance check, that's great. We're just not your contractor, and we'll let somebody else do it who's willing to go through all that hassle and the delay and have to pay the sales rep more and all that. And I think because what they've recognized is to build a great company, this is how you have to run it. So you let the other companies that are willing to run it in a way that's not as profitable run it that way if they want to run out the whole insurance. But these are big companies in these markets that are growing very fast, and they're growing fast by saying no to anything that's not out of pocket or financed.
Here's the thing: if you're in those storm markets, the amount of opportunity to do a re-roof is
high.
So high. If you don't get that 1 in 20 that can't get financed, or say it's even 1 in 10, if you can't get 1 in 10 because of financing or out-of-pocket cash, just move on to the next one, because you probably got 20 more chomping at your feet to get to an appointment. Just go to the next appointment.
I think that's the key here. So if you're in a market where you have a lot of insurance, but then you don't have enough volume to be able to easily say no to people that can't get financed or can't come out of pocket, then it's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be challenging. I think so there's a lot of markets that are not in Texas, so it's really Texas, Colorado, and Florida are like the really big storm markets right now, right? So it's the markets kind of outside of those areas that are still hit by storms, but maybe not at the same volume. Right. I could see where that's really tricky to run this model now. And part of it's too because it's maybe because insurance, the insurance companies, they kind of test things in these markets like Texas and Florida, and so they're way more aggressive. It's much harder to get things covered versus in these other markets they're a little bit more lax because it's like they're not getting hit as hard in those markets.
Right.
The rest of this question is, I like the idea of retail, but it lowers your customer service if you don't handle insurance and force them to work on their own claim. I feel like insurance will rip off so many homeowners under that model. Do you have thoughts on that?
I think homeowners rip off insurance just as much as insurance rips off homeowners. I mean, I see it all the time. These people, got 2 shingles missing on their 30-year-old roof, and somehow get the insurance company to pay a full roof replacement. It's like, dude, this should have been replaced 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, this roof was not, you put a 25-year-old shingle on, or 25-year shingle on this roof. It's 35 years old. You're missing some, 5 tabs across this slope, and somehow you scammed them because you should have. This is a retail job. You needed to replace this years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it could go both ways.
It can go both ways. Don't get me wrong. Insurance companies are slimy.
They're
slimy. Homeowners also need to take some more responsibility and keep their stuff up to date a little bit more. That's coming from a market that doesn't see the storms. So our roofs do get to be 30, 35, 40 years old.
And they're still trying to rip off insurance.
And then we get one gust of wind in a thunderstorm that's just like a 60-mile-an-hour gust, and it rips off 10 tabs, and now they're somehow getting an insurance company to replace it. So
yeah.
I'm not going to bat for that guy.
Right.
You need to pay for it, or if you want to deal with your insurance adjuster, that's on you. But I'm not wasting time with it.
Yeah. I think our opinion is definitely qualified because you're not in a heavy storm market, and I'm speaking secondhand from our users on ProLine that are in these markets. The one other thing I'll share, and I do want to caveat this because I feel like I'm a little bit outside my expertise, but from my understanding, the most powerful thing you can do in negotiating with your insurance company is to bring them a paid bill. If you bring them an invoice that says, my roof was damaged, here's all the photos, because that's, I think, an important part is still documenting all the damage so that the homeowner has ammo to go to the insurance company. So they're sending this very detailed inspection report. Here's all the damage. It's clearly this, and this. It's, the contractor has already typed all that in. Here's the wind damage. Here's the hail damage, whatever it is. And then sending that to the insurance company and saying, and also here's my bill because I already paid them. This is how much it costs.
Yeah,
that's a lot of ammo to go to the insurance company with, and you're still gonna probably have to do some work on that to negotiate with them, and they might not cover the whole thing depending on the age of the roof and other situations. But that's so much more ammo than if you're trying to get it covered and approved before the roof gets replaced.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more room for the insurance company to be like, well, if it was really that damaged, you'd already have it replaced, right?
Sure.
But if you just got it done, you're like, hey, this was urgent. It had to get replaced. We paid for it. Here's the invoice. You're arming the homeowner with pretty much everything they need to get that covered.
Yep.
And so at that point, it's just a different position. It's not like you're just letting the homeowner just, go off on their own with nothing.
Sure. Brian Huff actually has a good outlook on that, and
I've talked to Colorado.
He's in Colorado and has some good perspective. But basically, that's what he does. He has the homeowner finance it, so they're not digging a bunch of cash out of pocket, and then he gets them an invoice with a full company cam, project, whatever, like not checklist, but summary of everything that they've done on that roof, everything that was damaged.
1 second. Did it again. All right, we're good. Go ahead.
All right, So Brian Huff, he takes, he'll get you financing for your project. Then once the project's done, he gives you the whole company cam showcase of everything that was done, that was damaged, and an invoice. And then you take it to your insurance agent at that time to try to get it funded. He also has an attorney he works with very closely. From what I understand, it doesn't cost a lot of money to basically have that attorney submit all that stuff. And if I remember right, he had a really, really good success rate of the insurance companies literally just, okay, here's your reimbursement. Now, and that's the way they would handle it. They'd handle that as more of a reimbursement, not as an Xactimate where all these supplementers are getting $20,000 for a $13,000 roof.
Right.
So it's just a straight reimbursement. You pay the deductible. The deductible obviously comes out of the reimbursement. So you get almost all of your money back. So I mean that's how I would handle it if I was given the opportunity. But I'm not. I'm just not in that kind of market.
Yeah.
I wish I was. I'd love to see some shingles blowing through the air. I don't ever get to see
that. That makes total sense though. And I think it's always been a little wild to me. You have the whole insurance system around car accidents, and you have personal injury attorneys that run that. It's like all run by attorneys that went to law school.
Yep.
And then in roofing, it's like, no, we don't need attorneys. We're gonna have this 19-year-old talk to the insurance agency, and I mean it's worked. But I think insurance companies are starting to realize, like, why are we letting these 19-year-olds tell us what we owe on a roof? We don't do that with cars. Why would we do that with homes? Right. So the insurance companies are starting to figure out like that they can push back on that. And so I think it makes sense. I've always wondered, like, when is that going to start happening? When are you going to start seeing more attorneys get involved? I think the thing is, it's a little less appealing because when a car accident, you have medical bills. So that amount can be massive. Yep. Versus a roof. It's just the roof. So it is a lot. It is a lot of money.
Hundreds of thousands. It's tens of thousands.
It's tens of thousands. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's less attractive to attorneys, but. Yep. That's still, I think that sounds like a really interesting thing that he has going on, where maybe you get a relationship with an attorney and it's just sort of cookie cutter for them. So instead of them kind of going through this whole process, they're just like, this is the way we submit it every time. We can send it on our attorney letterhead to kind of put some weight behind this, and so it can maybe make more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how he does it. I can't remember for sure. It's been a bit since I talked to him, but it's something along those lines.